the Ducks migration update, a little bit about the OC vibe, and a lot more Ducks hockey this episode of Locked On Anaheim Ducks.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome back, everydayers. Thanks for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Kyle Carr. I'm a lifelong Ducks fan, and I've spent multiple years covering college sports. Today, we're talking Anaheim Ducks. First, we're going to go into a little bit of the update from Aaron Teats, the president of the Anaheim Ducks. Then I'm going to break down that game last night against the Islanders. And then I'm going to talk to you about Pat Verbeek's updates about the team and what he had to say at the Ducks migration event. So first off, let's get into Aaron Teats. Pretty cool stuff to hear from him. So far, around the whole organization, there is a large amount of belief in the team, and that belief is high, that they are very capable and very willing to put in the effort it takes to win, especially compared to years prior. There's been some short-term gains, but a lot of long-term improvements. The development, the players that are in place, the key pieces that we have, they are long-term improvements, and the Ducks are looking great, is what he said. So there's big thing that he noticed is there is a pronounced change in resilience amongst the players. As considering we are as young as it gets, the Anaheim Ducks are one of the youngest groups in the league. They have a record number of players 21 and below. And then the group that is under 25 is an even larger group. So the Ducks are dealing with a extremely young roster, and the way that they're approaching the game is exceeding expectations, you could say, for the president, as they have shown a very large amount of resiliency, and they've been taking a lot of accountability from the years prior. He wanted to point out that they had 18 wins down in San Diego. The San Diego Gulls, the AHL affiliate of the Anaheim Ducks, has had 18 wins out of the last 23 games. So the San Diego Gulls are definitely on the path to entering the AHL playoffs this year, and they have been just completely turning it on. If you look at their record down there, they had kind of a little bit of a losing streak going on at the end of 24, kind of start of 25. But ever since, it's been guns a-blazing down in San Diego. So you know what they say, sun's out, guns out. And they have been flexing on the opponents down there in the sunny San Diego beaches. Gotta love going to a good goals game. Always some fun times. Highly recommend taking the train down if you're in Orange County and checking out a goals game. Get to see a lot of the Ducks prospects and how they're doing. Something that I even had someone ask as soon as I took over as the host for Locked On Anaheim Ducks. They asked, what is going on with the OC vibe? If you've driven by the Honda Center, it is disgusting right now. There is just construction everywhere. Traffic there sucks. You got to park like 15 blocks away and then walk to the game. There's just chaos around the Honda Center right now. But we did get an update from Aaron Teats about the OC vibe. So right now, the biggest thing that they've been focusing on is the parking structure, which is, as you've seen, it's pretty massive. They've got floors 1 through 4 done. So that's floors 1, 2, 3, and 4 are done. And the floors 5 and 6, which will be the last ones, are about 75% done. So the expectation is that the structures will be open for the beginning of next fall season. So this next month and a half, unfortunately, we will not be able to park. If you are a fan out there, will not be able to park there yet. But next year, parking should be fantastic. They have already poured more concrete than the Pixar garage at Disneyland, is what he said. So if you've ever been to the Disneyland structure, it is also a massive structure, and they have poured way more concrete making this new one for the Honda Center. So little flex on the neighbors down below, across the freeway, I should say. And then with that, the parking structure will give 60% more parking for anywhere that they've had around the Honda Center. So think of all the large outdoor lots that they had back in the day. They are now going to have 60% more parking than before. And in that, they are going to be having premium parking, which is kind of what they're working on in front of the Honda Center as you go down Catella. That is going to be premium parking underground, and you walk right into the Honda Center. So not sure how much that's going to cost, but those premium and Orange Alliance high baller fans will have very good parking and completely different setup than it has been before. They are right now starting a 5,700 foot concert hall foundation that is being laid. They started that progress this last week. So that's the next step in the OC Vibe, is creating this concert hall. It's going to be massive, really good to have some live entertainment, and it helps take away from the Honda Center during the hockey season. They can continue to have concerts and other events going on while also having hockey games. So that's going to be huge for the Anaheim area. And then they also are working on 21 top. It's a big marketplace. I, during my notes, did not get the size of how large it's going to be, but they are going to have 21 Top Chef inspired restaurants in this market hall, and other stores and local area type. It's like a big, if you've been to the packing district, just a bunch of smaller fronts, but it's all going to be right there. So you bunch of stuff, bunch of food, bunch of shopping, everything that you can need in one day, and then walk right on over to the Honda Center. That's going to be really, really cool to see once it is done. Didn't give us a timeline on that as far as I got out of what he said. Definitely expect that if the parking garage isn't going to be done before the summer. I would assume that most of that's probably going to be either opening up right at the fall or parts of it during the summer, and then more into the fall, winter time. So I know on the posters it does say coming this summer, but I feel like that's a pretty ambitious ask to have that done. So maybe more summer 2026. And then he did announce that the Samuelis, the owners of the Ducks, approved or greenlit a $200 million project for inside the Honda Center. So looking to modernize the concourse, club areas, the concessions, everything within the Honda Center. $200 million of improvements greenlit. So that's going to be starting as soon as possible. I assume they'll be doing chunks every off season. So expect the Honda Center to look a little different the next time you enter that place. And then that whole area, all of OC Vibe, is a $4 billion district. So apartments, shopping, the garage, Honda Center remodels, all of that, $4 billion into Anaheim and that air down. I guess you can call it a downtown now, and the $200 million going into the Honda Center. So really great to see. One thing that he did kind of hint at is that with the team improving and then the outside improving with the OC Vibe, it just leads to the question of where's the next Stanley Cup parade gonna go through when the Ducks win it again. That is the hope. They have confidence. The Anaheim Ducks behind the scenes staff is definitely looking forward to the next Stanley Cup coming to Orange County. Not sure when, but hopefully within the next couple of years. That is the hope, the pray, everything for the Ducks fans, the Ducks staff. We're hoping very, very soon. A big, good plus positive for the team. I don't know if you're like me. I'm a huge fan of the rebrand. A little orangey, more orange than I thought. I was kind of hoping they'd go with more of a blackout style mixed with the orange, but I love the old logo. Love that we've left that weird Web D and the kind of awkward lines, and it just was not. It was probably one of the most ugly sweaters in the NHL. But now the kids are looking stylish out there. They're buzzing. Everyone's been buying the merch. Apparently, they've been setting record-setting numbers for the merchandise this year ever since the rebrand. So good to hear that merch sales are going up, and there's a lot more buzz about repping the Anaheim Ducks and being part of Orange Country. And then with the Victory Plus change, say what you will about it. I'm not the biggest fan, as the app crashes all the time. Half the time on the TV, it doesn't even let me click on the game. As soon as I click it, it crashes. It crashes almost every period. But they said they've been having a lot of positive feedback from it. 300% in streaming viewership, obviously, as there was no streaming viewership before. And then 120% viewership increase through the linear channel, so regular local TV and more the national broadcasts and stuff. So Ducks hockey is definitely getting out there. There's been a lot more eyes. It's growing, so it's good to hear. And one of the things that's leading to the Ducks being viewed a lot more is their ability to win. And they won yesterday in very, very high-flying fashion. So let's break down that game after the break. All right, looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein. Giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Honestly, when you got beer league, everyone, beer league games are usually at like 10:30, 11:30 at night. There's nothing open in Orange County for dinner around that time. So if you completely forgot to eat, grab a handful of Wonderful Pistachios, get that protein, get your buzz on before you go out there and chug some beer. I mean, play some good professional hockey out there on the ice. So Wonderful Pistachios is definitely the thing to go. They got the shellless, and they've got the ones in shell if you're trying to crack open whatever it is that you need when it comes to your energy. Wonderful Pistachios has got you. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. All right, as I said, we were going to talk about last night's game against the New York Islanders. And we got to talk about the first off, foremost, Mac and C's line. They are gelling. They are like a nice box of mac and cheese. They're just everything you want and need all at once. The youth has been vibing. They've been thriving. They did amazing last night. The offensive prowess, the way they were moving their feet, passing the puck. The first goal of the game was a beautiful passing play. Colangelo chips it in right over the blue line to enter the offensive zone. And then, Carter Gauthier, he goes behind the back, spinning like a whirlpool top over to McTavish, like completely blind pass. McTavish gets it, pops it right back to Colangelo, who outweights the goaltender and just plots it right in the back of that. Beauty goal, just high flying, good passing play. That's what we need to see as Ducks fans. So great to see that happening out there. The biggest takeaway that I got out of this win, compared to the loss against the Blues, they played really well against the Blues, but the Blues shut them down. They could not get out of their zone. It was almost the exact opposite this game. The speed, the violence of action, the forecheck, quick transitions, everything that leads to good offense was in play last night. It was a noticeably faster game. It looked like the Islanders were standing still at times, the way the Ducks were moving the puck. They were taking advantage of turnovers, completely pressuring on that forecheck. A lot of mistakes were made by the Islanders by that. And then, of course, Trevor Zegras, he was buzzing. He's been doing solid. You know what? I'm just taking the credit now after I called him out and said that he's going to be going out on the trade deadline. He's been playing fantastic. So you're welcome, guys. He was listening to Locked On Anaheim Ducks. He heard me talking smack, and now he's proven it to me and to all the fans just how dominant he is as a player. And he did attempt the Michie last night. Mish. It was unfortunate that it did not go in, but it was like, right on the crack. So to see him still willing to pull the Michigan and also combining that physical play and making great passes, moving his feet, playing quick, it's good to see. Ducks hockey is in a good spot right now. You can just feel the confidence vibrating off of everyone on the team. It was good to see Hellison got his third of the season. That was a good shot from him from the point. Kind of a seeing eye puck, but good to get all of our depth players scoring right now. And one thing that I noticed that's really helped with the win, the shooters are finally shooting. All of these guys that have been on the team, the Ducks have been looking forward to put the puck in the net. These guys are finally shooting. McTavish, Terry, Gauthier had some great shots. Colangelo, obviously, with his goal scoring. Trevor Zegras, everyone, pretty much all the forwards were trying to put pucks on net. And then the defense were trying to put them through traffic. So really good to finally see that there isn't as much passing and trying to no, you take it. No, you take it. No, you take it. And more, I got it. I'm taking it to the net. Let's go. You follow me. So that's the type of mentality the Ducks need to be entering the playoffs and having a more successful type season. So that was definitely on display last night. Teats, speaking of him McTavish getting that goal, he's been shooting really well, and he sniped a beauty of a shot. Kind of used the Islanders defense as a screen. Did a little toe drag release with a top shelf where grandma hides the cookies. Just masterpiece. And that was a power play goal. So good to see that the Ducks are getting those special teams win. Their power play was 50% last night, as they only had 2 power plays, but that's a lot better than 17%. So again, the offense is finally clicking for the team. Good to see the Ducks shooting. Good to see them taking advantage of the special teams. And also, they did give up a little bit more penalties. They gave up 3. However, they were 100% on the penalty kill. So special teams is turning around, and we'll get into just how important that is when we talk about what Pat Verbeek had to say about the team as well. Surprisingly, Lacombe did not get on the board. I know he's been hot. Would love to see him get on another scoring streak, but this time it was with everything, all the offense that was going on, Lacombe was not on the score sheet for that, but he definitely helped to make some of the offense happen. He's been solid with Gudas in the back end. It's like nothing phases him. He's like the Iceman out there, just chilling, nice and young, nice and just way steps ahead of what he should have been this year, and glad to see that he's doing well. Colangelo, though, again, got to talk about him. He gets an empty netter from the middle of the ice with 11 minutes and 40-something seconds, just under 12 minutes of playtime in the third. I don't know what the Islanders were doing. This probably the most early in a game that an empty net goal was scored, but they pulled the goaltender. I don't know if they were trying to take advantage of a power play or what. All of a sudden, an empty net goal was in. It was absurd. That I see the alert. Colangelo scores empty netter. I was like, the game's not even close to being over. I just looked away for 5 minutes. Boom, empty net at 11 minutes. So that is 6 goals for him in 5 games since he got called up. He has scored every single game that he's played in since coming up from San Diego. Not the pinball wizard tonight, as both goals were actually shots that he made, not a deflection goal, but I'm still going to call him the pinball wizard, even though he is part of the Mac and C's line. All the nicknames are there. It's just anything and everything you could think of. Let's call him that. Towards the end of the game, though, they were buzzing. It was a good team play, solid everywhere. However, at the end, they started to play a little loose. That getting that 4-goal lead, they started to get a little bit sloppy. They ended the game with 21 giveaways compared to the Islanders' 13. So, kind of playing loose, playing a little unstructured. You could tell the Islanders were starting to put a lot of offense on. And finally, D'Angelo broke through, and Dostal does not get the shutout. There's just under 10 minutes left in the game, probably about the last 6-ish minutes. Don't have the exact timestamp on me right now, but towards the end of the game there, they let one in. So unfortunately, Dostal not getting the shutout, but they locked it down right after that goal and did not allow another one. Did not allow the Islanders to come back. I was sweating watching the last few minutes of the game because of the loose play and because of the pressure the Islanders were putting on. You could see the desperation in their play. So, no shutout, but overall, a solid performance by the team. A big thing that Coronin and Verbeek have been looking for is a lot more of a physical, structured game. And they did have 24 hits and 18 block shots. So they're playing physical. They beat both the Islanders in those categories. So 24 hits, 18 block shots. You want to see that coming through every night. That's what led to a good win for the team. So overall, very proud of the team as a fan, as an analyst. Looking forward to a lot more solid play. They were 58% of faceoffs or in the faceoff dot. And like I said, 50% on the power play and 100% on the penalty kill. And let's see if the Ducks can lead this into a win streak as they take on the Capitals tomorrow night. But we got the OV goal chase. So coming up next, going to talk to you about what Verbeek had to say about the team and what the status from the general manager's eyes are of the team. So stick around. Are you looking to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor makes eating well easy with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals that are fresh, never frozen, and ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences every week, you can customize your meals to fit your lifestyle. Whether it's calorie smart, protein plus, trying to get you a flex on, or keto plus, Factor even offers wholesome smoothies, breakfast, and grab-and-go snacks to keep you fueled all day long. I love how Factor takes the stress out of meal planning. I am terrible when it comes to meal planning. I don't even know what I'm going to eat the next meal in front of me. I have no clue. So the fact that Factor allows me to pick all my meals ahead of time, I get them in the mail. Whichever one I want to eat that day, that's what I'm eating. It's fantastic. You don't have to think about anything else. And you got bomb food right there, right in your fridge. The convenience is unbeatable. No prep, no mess, just great food in minutes. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50off and use code LockedOnNHL50off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. So that is factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50off and use that code LockedOnNHL50off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping at factormeals.com. Try it today. All right, welcome back. Now to get a little bit into what Verbeek had to say at the Ducks migration. Kind of hitting the quick notes here. He did mention that Fabry broke a bone in his hand during the trade deadline, or that's what he's been out for. So when it came to trades, he was virtually untradeable. He was wrestling with the Dumoulin decision due to the stability he was bringing to the back end of the team and in the locker room. But overall, the need to allow Zellweger and Mintyukov to play meaningful minutes in this playoff race that the Ducks are on was more important. So that's what led to the Dumoulin trade. Last year, his expectations was to have the team in meaningful games this year, and now we have them. So good for the Ducks to be in that situation. He wanted the young guys to go through this process and feel the pressure that the little things matter, the accountability you have to have day in, day out when you're in this pressure cooker of a playoff race, and to really tighten up your game. So this is the exact situation he wants the young squad to be in. So great to know that the Verbeek plan is in play right now. He definitely acknowledged that there was a huge step from last year, as the team has been completely different in the way that their determination and their resilience and their inability to quit and kind of feeling bad for themselves has left the locker room. He sees them battling every night, like I said, and their beliefs overall. Like, the thing that he mentioned is that he tells the guys, not only do you need the skill and the right squad and the prowess to win a Stanley Cup, you also need to have the belief that you can win the Stanley Cup. So the Anaheim Ducks right now have that belief. They're feeling it. They're buzzing. They see how close the wild card slot is for them. And he says it is completely noticeable in the locker room. They are keeping their heads held up high. The way that they communicate with themselves, everything in the locker room is looking up in the right direction right now. One thing that he did say that he's a little upset about right now is the special teams. I've been talking about that the last few episodes. He mentioned that if the special teams was at least average amongst the league, we are way below average, but if they were at least average, which is about a 20% special teams rate for the power play, we would be 5 games ahead in the standings. The Anaheim Ducks would. They would be 5 games ahead. That's 10 points in the standings that the Ducks could have placed if they had better improved special teams. So that definitely needs improvement, and that's why it was good last night to see that they did get the power play goal and were 100% on the penalty kill. Definitely want a little bit more discipline out of the team, as 3 power plays or to the opposite team does not help. Luckily, they shut him down, but giving your opponent those opportunities does not give you any advantage. He definitely sees that Lacombe he's very impressed with Lacombe, but he sees more. He thinks that there is more to Lacombe's game, and that we could be seeing a completely different defenseman next year if he starts putting in the effort now. He's got that Norris Trophy type play in him. The timeline of being a championship team, he says, is very convoluted, because as young players develop and they get better, other players on other teams start to notice, they pay more attention to them, and they start defending differently. So he was talking to Leo, saying that you're not worse off than last year. Don't let it get to you. Your numbers might not be the same, but that's because a lot of these big top line centers now are starting to pay attention to you and trying to shut you down, and you're seeing a lot more of that aggressive competition. However, for Leo, the Four Nations gave Karlsson a huge boost to see that, one, he got to hang out with top players and see how they go about their habits, how they go about their day by day. And then also on the second, that he was able to show that and know for himself that he can play alongside of those top players. And the confidence since he's come back has definitely shown that he is able to be in this league. So good for him that he did get to go to the Four Nations. Wish there was some more Ducks players, but with the way that the team was playing at that, as they were picking the teams, it's understandable. So the big thing, he really wants to see Cutter, for Cutter Gauthier, that he needs to take more advantage of his speed, because he sees him being more of a speed type player. He has it. He needs to have confidence in it. He's very proud of Trevor Zegras right now. He's a very competitive player, making huge strides, and he has taken all of his physical and defensive training and everything that they've been asking of him, plus adding new skills. Like, he's taken everything and then taking it to the next level. Some of the teams he see, players coming up from the minor leagues, Nestorenko's name came up, Tristan Leno, Beckett Seneca. He's not really going to be coming to the team, but they're taking a long time with him as he's been doing really well in juniors. So he'll probably go to the AHL next year and then move up through there. So a lot of confidence in the way that the young players are developing. They have a lot of cap space to protect against offer sheets, and he is just like us. He doesn't know what the heck goalie interference is either. That's one of the rules that he's does not enjoy. A lot of the GMs have been grumbling about it. He said that they will be talking about rule changes when they have the GM meetings, but could not allude to what those rule changes might be. And when it comes to the goaltending, we have top 5 in goalie tandems out there. So Dostal most likely going to be getting a contract soon, and there is no reason, no need to trade John Gibson. They have a great matchup. They're playing well together, and they bring a lot to the locker room. So pretty much overall positive from Pat Verbeek. He sees a lot of potential in this team. Doesn't seem to be completely floundering or upset. It seems like the Ducks are exactly where he wants them to be. So thank you. I know that was a lot, kind of just shotgunning at you what was about an hour and a half of meeting with them. So I hope you got at least some good info out of there and know that the Ducks are in a good place. The OC vibe is in a great place, coming along well. The team's coming along well. So things are really looking up out here in Anaheim and in Orange Country, as they are calling it this year. So thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On NHL podcast, bringing you the daily league-wide stories that matter with the local coverage and love from Locked On that you love from Locked On, Find Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and tell everyone about Locked On Anaheim Ducks. I'm Kyle Card. Thanks again. Be good out there.